If your dog has been scratching, biting, and chewing at its own skin for weeks, and you have already spent hundreds of dollars at the vet with nothing to show for it, listen carefully. What I am about to share with you is a remedy that shepherds in these mountains have used for over 100 years. It costs less than $5. You can make it with ingredients from your kitchen shelf, and it works better than most of the expensive prescriptions your vet keeps handing you. But before I tell you what it is, you need to understand why your dog is itching in the first place. My name is Elias Marek. I am 68 years old, and I have spent more than 50 years working livestock guardian dogs and herding breeds in the high pastures. I have treated hundreds of dogs with skin problems in my lifetime, guardian dogs, sheep dogs, and plenty of house dogs that people carried up the mountain road to my gate when nothing else worked. So, when a family arrives with a miserable, scratching dog and a folder full of vet receipts, I already know what happened before they say a word. It almost always comes down to the same two things. I call it the veterinary itch trap. Your dog starts scratching. You take it to the vet. The vet runs an allergy panel that costs $300 to $800 depending on where you live. The results come back showing your dog is allergic to 15 different things, from dust mites to grass pollen to chicken protein. So the vet puts your dog on Apoquel or Cytopoint. These drugs cost between $50 and $200 every single month. And they work, in a way. The scratching slows down and you think the problem is solved. But then you stop giving the pills. The scratching comes right back, often worse than before. Now you are paying $50 to $200 a month for the rest of your dog's life. For a 10-year-old Labrador Retriever lying on your living room floor, that is $6,000 to over $24,000 just for itching. I am not saying veterinarians are bad people, but the system they work in is built to sell treatments, not cures, and there is a big difference between the two. Up here in the mountains, there is no such thing as a $200 monthly prescription, and a guardian dog with infected raw skin cannot watch a flock. A sheepdog that stops every 30 seconds to chew its own leg cannot move sheep. When your livelihood walks on four legs, you learn what actually causes the itch and you fix it at the source. The number one reason your dog itches is a damaged skin barrier. Your dog's skin sits between 6 and 7 on the pH scale, and that slightly acidic surface is what keeps bacteria, yeast, and fungal infections from taking hold. When that pH gets disrupted, your dog's skin becomes a breeding ground for everything that causes itching, redness, and hot spots along the belly and flanks. And the number one thing that disrupts it is overbathing with commercial shampoo. Every time you wash your dog with a product full of artificial fragrances and sulfates, you strip away the natural oils that protect the skin. The dog's body compensates by producing more oil. That extra oil traps dirt and bacteria. The bacteria cause more itching. You bathe the dog again to fix it. And the cycle gets worse with every wash. My dogs live outside in rain, snow, and mud, and they get a real bath maybe twice a year, usually because they rolled in something dead. Their skin is healthier than almost any city dog I have ever handled. City dog owners are bathing every week or two. That alone explains half the itching problems I see. But the skin barrier is only part of it. And this next part is what your vet almost never mentions during an allergy appointment. Your dog's digestive system is directly connected to its skin health. Cheap commercial kibble loaded with corn, wheat, soy, and artificial preservatives creates chronic low-grade inflammation inside the digestive tract. Your dog's body is fighting its own food, and the battlefield shows up on its skin as itching, flaking, and raw hot spots. So you have two root causes: a damaged skin barrier on the outside and gut inflammation on the inside. Every expensive vet treatment you have tried only covered the symptoms. The Apoquel suppresses the immune response so your dog stops feeling the itch. But the itch is still there. The underlying damage is still there. You are just numbing it. Now let me tell you what actually fixes it. And this remedy has sat on the shelf in our mountain kitchens for 3 generations. The foundation is raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. Not the clear pasteurized kind lined up next to the white vinegar on most grocery store shelves. You need the kind that looks cloudy and murky with stringy bits floating at the bottom of the glass bottle. That sediment is called the mother, and it is a colony of beneficial bacteria and enzymes that do the real work. A 16-ounce bottle costs about $3 to $4 at any grocery store or farm supply shop. Take a clean spray bottle and mix equal parts raw apple cider vinegar and plain water. 1 cup of each. Do not use it undiluted. Straight vinegar stings irritated skin, and your dog will let you know about it. For paw chewing, pour the mixture into a shallow dish and let your dog stand in it for about 30 seconds per paw. This restores the acidic pH on the skin surface, killing yeast and bacteria on contact, and it washes out the allergens, pollen, and chemical residues your dog picked up walking across treated lawns and mopped floors. For hot spots on the belly, back, or flanks, spray the solution directly onto the irritated area and let it air dry on the coat. Do not rinse it off. The vinegar smell fades within about an hour as the fur dries. Do this once daily for the first 2 weeks, then drop to 2 or 3 times a week for maintenance. Now, I will be blunt with you. This is not an overnight miracle. After the first application, you will notice your dog seems calmer, less frantic scratching, less biting at the paws. But the real healing takes 2 to 3 weeks of consistent daily use because the skin barrier needs time to rebuild itself. And here is why you need to keep watching. The vinegar handles the outside, but you have not fixed the inside yet. And if you skip this next part, the itching keeps coming back. Last spring, a woman drove the whole mountain road up to my gate with a golden retriever that had been scratching without pause for 6 months. Patches of fur were missing on both flanks, and the belly was raw and pink from constant chewing. She had spent over $2,000 on vet visits, blood panels, prescription food, and medicated baths at the clinic down in town. $2,000. I asked her how often she bathed the dog. Twice a week, she said, with a $28 oatmeal shampoo she bought from the vet. I told her to stop bathing the dog entirely for 1 month and start the vinegar rinse instead. She looked at me like the altitude had gotten to my head. 4 weeks later, she drove back up. The scratching had already dropped by half, and we had not even started the dietary changes yet. Just stopping the constant bathing gave that golden retriever's skin a chance to recover on its own. That brings me to the second external fix, and this one costs about 20 cents. Take 1 cup of plain rolled oats from the baking aisle and grind them in a blender until they become a fine powder. That powder is colloidal oatmeal, the exact same active ingredient in those dog skin care products that cost $30 to $40 a bottle. You just made it in your kitchen for pennies. Add that powder to a lukewarm bath. Not hot water, because hot water inflames already irritated skin and dries it out even further. Let your dog soak for 10 to 15 minutes. The oatmeal forms a protective film on the skin that locks in moisture and calms the nerve endings that trigger the itching sensation. After the soak, Rinse gently with cool water and pat dry. No blow dryer, no hard rubbing with a towel, just gentle patting. Do the oatmeal soak once a week alongside the daily vinegar treatment. Within 2 weeks, the skin calms down, the hot spots start healing, and you will see fur growing back in the bare patches. But remember what I said about the gut being the other half of this problem. This next part is just as cheap, and it is what separates a temporary improvement from a permanent fix. Start adding a raw egg to your dog's food bowl 3 times a week. I know some of you just flinched. Yes, raw. Shell and all if your dog will eat it. My dogs have eaten raw eggs straight from the henhouse behind my cabin for 50 years, generation after generation, without a single problem. The egg provides biotin, omega-3 fatty acids, and high-quality protein that supports skin and coat health directly from the inside. One egg costs about 30 cents. Add 1 tablespoon of virgin coconut oil to your dog's food every day. Warm it slightly so it melts and mixes into the kibble in the food bowl. Coconut oil contains lauric acid, which fights fungal and bacterial problems from the inside out, supporting the barrier you are rebuilding from the outside in. A jar costs about $6 and lasts 2 to 3 months. Start with half a tablespoon for the first few days so your dog's stomach can adjust. Some dogs get loose stools when you introduce too much fat at once. After 3 or 4 days, move up to the full tablespoon. My dogs will lick it straight off the spoon if I let them. And if you want to take it one step further, make a simple bone broth on your kitchen stove. Save the bones from a roasted chicken, cover them with water in a stock pot, add a splash of apple cider vinegar to help pull the minerals out, and simmer on low for 12 to 24 hours. Strain it, let it cool, and pour a quarter cup over your dog's food at each meal. Bone broth is packed with collagen and amino acids that heal the gut lining directly. Healthy gut, healthy skin. It is that simple. On cold nights up here, my dogs get warm broth over their food, and their coats show it. If you are finding this helpful, I put together a complete guide called The Shepherd's Dog Savings Manual. It covers everything in this video, plus dozens of other mountain remedies my family has used for generations for joint pain, ear infections, bad breath, anxiety, and more. The link is in the description below. Now, let me tell you about the 4 mistakes I see dog owners making that undo all of this good work. I see them constantly when people bring their dogs up the mountain to me. Mistake number 1 is bathing too often. I already covered this, but it needs saying twice because it is the single most common cause of chronic skin problems in dogs. If you are using shampoo on your dog more than once a month, you are part of the problem. The only exception is if your dog rolled in something truly foul: mud, manure, a dead animal in the field. A quick rinse with plain water from the hose is fine anytime. But shampoo strips the skin barrier every single time. Mistake number 2 is using human products on your dog. Human shampoo, human conditioner, human skin lotion from your bathroom cabinet. Your skin has a pH of about 5.5. Your dog's skin sits between 6 and 7. Products made for human pH are too acidic for dogs and cause irritation. And baby shampoo is not a safe alternative either. It is still made for human skin. Mistake number 3 is ignoring the paws completely. Your dog walks across chemically treated grass, road salt in winter, hot asphalt in summer, and floors cleaned with detergents and bleach. My dogs walk on rock, grass, and snow, and even they get irritants stuck between the toes. Your dog licks its paws to try to clean them, swallows the chemicals, and the cycle of irritation continues from both directions. Wipe your dog's paws with a damp cloth after every walk, or better yet, do the apple cider vinegar paw soak. 30 seconds, and you prevent hours of paw chewing later that night. Mistake number 4 is the food, and I cannot stress this enough. Go look at the ingredient label on your dog's kibble bag right now. If the first 3 ingredients include corn gluten meal, wheat, soy, or the words meat byproducts, you are feeding your dog inflammation in a bag. You do not need the most expensive premium brand, but you need food where the first ingredient is an actual named animal: chicken, beef, salmon, lamb. Not animal protein, not meat meal, an actual animal that once walked, swam, or flew. The difference between cheap filler kibble and decent food shows up in your dog's coat within 3 to 4 weeks. The fur gets shinier, the dandruff fades, and the itching calms down noticeably. I have watched this happen more times than I can count. Now, I will be honest with you, because a shepherd who is not honest is not worth listening to. There are times when this home remedy is not enough, and you actually need a veterinarian. I am an old man who has spent his life with dogs and sheep. I am not a doctor. If your dog has open bleeding sores that will not close, that is beyond a vinegar rinse. If you see pus, swelling, red streaks spreading outward from a wound, or the skin smells foul and rotten, that is likely a bacterial infection that needs antibiotics from the vet clinic. Do not gamble with infections. I have seen what they do. If the itching came on very suddenly, overnight, and your dog is also lethargic, refusing food, or acting disoriented, that could be a reaction to something serious: a snake bite, a spider bite, contact with a toxic plant, or an acute allergic reaction that needs emergency medical attention at the animal hospital. And if you see patches of fur falling out in circular patterns, crusty skin with raised edges, or tiny black specks in the fur that look like ground pepper, your dog may have mange mites, ringworm, or a flea infestation. Those conditions need proper diagnosis and targeted treatment. Apple cider vinegar will not fix them on its own. For everything else, for the chronic low-grade, drives everyone crazy scratching and chewing that has gone on for weeks or months with no clear cause, the remedy I just walked you through will handle it. I have watched it work on guardian dogs with raw bellies from sleeping on frozen ground. I have watched it work on old sheep dogs with flaky, dandruff-covered coats. And I have watched it work on little house dogs carried up this mountain looking miserable, biting at their own legs until they squeaked. I will leave you with this. My neighbor Stefan, down in the village, had an old beagle named Bruno who scratched so badly the dog wore a bald patch into the rug where it slept every night. Stefan spent over $1,500 at 3 different vets over 2 years. Steroids, antihistamines, special diets, the whole routine. Nothing lasted more than a few weeks before the scratching came back worse. I gave Stefan a bottle of apple cider vinegar, a bag of rolled oats, and these exact instructions. 6 weeks later, Bruno's fur had grown back completely. The scratching stopped. Bald spot on that rug started filling back in because the beagle was finally sleeping through the night instead of chewing itself raw. $1,500 at the vet, or $4.60 at the grocery store. Rebuild the skin barrier from the outside with the vinegar rinse and oatmeal soak. Heal the gut from the inside with real food, raw eggs, coconut oil, and bone broth. Stop overbathing. Start wiping those paws. Give it 3 weeks. Up here, We are patient with our dogs, and they repay us for it. Hit subscribe. Next week, I am covering the 3-ingredient shepherd's paste that stops ear infections in 48 hours. Take care of those dogs. They have earned it.